Go at throttle up.
All three engines now throttled back up.
Throttle up.
Engines at 104%. The go at throttle up call signifies that all systems are performing well. All three auxiliary power units look good. Discovery's velocity now 2,300 feet per second, and is downrange 8 nautical miles. Standing by for SRB separation. And both solid rocket boosters have separated. Discovery's velocity now 4,300 feet per second at a downrange distance of 35 nautical miles. Booster officer reports all three engines stable at 104% performance.
Discovery Houston, performance is nominal. Discovery Houston, you have a go to open the doors.
Roger, Houston. Houston, Discovery.
Go ahead, Charlie.
Yeah, I think you guys can probably see it. Looks like that oxygen on the left dome is kind of getting noisy, and it's tripping the caution and warning.
Roger that, stand by, Charlie. We're talking about it. No action for you right yet.
Houston, Discovery.
Go ahead, Charlie.
Yeah, Steve, we'd like to know if we can go ahead and get a jump on KU band deploy.
That's affirmative, Charlie. You have a go for KU band deploy.
And Houston, you've probably seen all the IMU line stuff was complete.
Roger that, Lauren. We've been watching here. The IMUs look good, and we concur that you're complete.
And this is Mission Control Houston at 3 hours 2 minutes into the flight of Discovery. We're now seeing payload bay views from camera A. That's on the forward bulkhead of Discovery looking aft. We're seeing the remote manipulator system arm as it is put through its paces being checked out for tomorrow's activities related to the Hubble Space Telescope.
Discovery Houston, we're getting some real good payload bay television downlink, and we see that Steve has been hard at work getting the RMS deployed.
Okay, he's getting a good start at the RMS checkout right now.
Roger, Lauren.
This is Mission Control. Mission Specialist Steve Hawley continuing to take the RMS through its checkout procedures. We are looking at the end effector as it is run through the snare drive test. It's in diameter.
Discovery.
Go ahead, Discovery.
Roger, Jim. We think RMS checkout is complete. We think the arm is full up. We didn't see any anomalies at all.
That sounds great, Steve, and we concur. Discovery Houston, just wanted to let you know that the ground is currently configured for HST main bus activation. So we're ready when you are.
Houston, on.
Roger, Lauren. We copy.
Good morning, outer space, from all the human race. It's time to stow your sleeping gear. We know you had a blast up in space at last. Now your main objective's clear. Deploy the space telescope to carry on our dreams and hopes. Space is our world. We're living our destiny. Space is our world. The spirit of discovery. Space is our world. 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 Space is our world.
Good morning, Discovery. Your wake-up music today is compliments of your training team. We want you to make them proud today.
Discovery, Houston.
Morning, Story.
Good morning, Discovery. Good morning from Bill Reeves and Orbit 1 team, and you got a go for HST deploy ops.
That's outstanding. Thank you.
Sure is.
This is Mission Control Houston. This digital animation being fed by live telemetry depicting the motion of the robot arm as Mission Specialist Steve Hawley begins to put it through its paces. This live view coming from the forward port bulkhead camera aboard Discovery gives us a look at the real thing. Steve Hawley has unberthed the arm and has begun to move it into position for grapple of the Hubble Space Telescope. This is Mission Control Houston. Our PDRS officer here in the flight control room confirms via telemetry that the Hubble Space Telescope has been grappled. This is Mission Control Houston. We're continuing to take live television from the shuttle Discovery, this from the aft flight deck of the vehicle as Mission Specialist Kathy Sullivan continues to prepare for deploy operations. At this point, beginning to set up photographic equipment on the flight deck to document the deploy activities.
Discovery, Houston.
Go ahead, Story.
You got a go to release the propellers and a go to transfer Hubble to internal power on time.
Roger that. Understand. Go for propeller release and go for transfer to internal power on time.
That's firm.
And Houston Discovery, the transfer to internal power is complete. The umbilical is dead safe, and we'll be standing by for your go for umbilical release.
Roger, Discovery. Discovery, your go for umbilical disconnect.
Copy that. Go for umbilical disconnect.
It's firm.
In this solar array deploy attitude that Discovery is in at the time, which has the sun constantly off the nose of the orbiter Discovery, the image in the majority of the field of view is reflection of the forward bulkhead in the metallic aperture door of the telescope.
You know, pitch is about 4 degrees off, attitude-wise.
Okay.
Maybe that's what's making it look like that. You're gonna pitch it up. Okay. I see you coming up. How does it look out your window as far as clearance? Because that's the only thing. Oh, you can't see. I can't see out your window either. That shows us about 2 inches starboard. Good clearance. Still looks good. And it's about an inch forward, but I think that may be pitch. Pitch again kind of sagged. It's 355 right now.
It sure looks like I want to go to starboard.
Starboard, yeah. I'd go ahead and do it. As you get over here, I can see lots of clearance. Coming starboard nicely.
Charlie coming in over your shoulder.
A little bit more.
Okay, still coming.
Okay.
What's my Z?
Okay, Z is minus 538. And it's coming up nicely.
And this is Hubble Telescope Control in Greenbelt. We have been given the go-ahead to begin commanding release of the forward latches, which hold the solar arrays in place during launch along the side of the telescope. The forward latches are on both sides, both the port and starboard side of the telescope are released simultaneously.
Discovery, no need to acknowledge. The forward latches are in motion.
Roger, Houston. We copy.
Discovery, we'll take this attitude right here. I'd like you to go free drift for PDM deploy.
Roger, free drift.
This is Hubble Telescope Control Greenbelt, 1 day, 1 hour, 54 minutes mission elapsed time. Continuing to receive television through the Vandenberg tracking station. And it is clearly showing the deployment of the solar array masts with the solar array package in the stowed position. The arrays are wound much like a pair of window shades around a roller and kept in that configuration for launch. And once the primary deployment activity has been completed, the crew tweaks the attitude and replaces the vehicle in free drift. The operations team here will begin commanding the solar array blankets to unfurl.
Discovery, in order to preserve an orbit 20 release, I'd like you to get into EVA prep.
Okay, we're proceeding with that.
Thank you.
We see both high gains moving.
Thank you, Lauren.
And as Commander Lauren Shriver just confirmed what our data screens are showing here in the control center, that the motors are in operation and the two high-gain antenna masts are in the process of swinging 90 degrees to the perpendicular position.
Discovery, go free drift or plus SDM deploy.
Doing free drift, Troy. And we see first motion. Looks good.
And as the crew just confirmed, we're seeing both blankets beginning to unfurl on the port side solar array.
So far we see good smooth motion both sides.
And we got TV down here, Lauren.
Roger that.
The solar arrays are driven out of their cassettes by bi-stems, which are at each side of the array. The bi-stem is visible in the television being downlinked from the spacecraft at this time. It's attached at the end of the array to a spreader bar, and the spreader bar is in turn attached to the array, which literally pulls the array out of the cassette, which held it packaged during launch.
As you can see, Story, we've got 3 panels out.
Thanks, Lauren.
When fully deployed, both of the arrays together produce about 6,000 volts, about half of which is required to operate telescope systems, and during the daylight side of the pass, the other half is used to recharge the 6 nickel hydrogen batteries. Shift Supervisor Pete Patero just checking with his control team, receiving a report that from the ground, as confirmed by the crew from orbit, the deploy activity so far is going very smoothly. We see no indications of any problems at this time.
Discovery, you can go auto burn. We're setting up for the other array.
Okay, we'll go auto burn.
That's firm. Discovery Houston.
Go ahead.
We're looking more and more like an
good, and we'd like to go ahead and go to filter state.
We concur, Charlie.
Sorry, I was taking pictures. You want? I may have missed your call. You want to go ahead and do RMS power down so we can get the guys out of the airlock set up for them?
But that's at your convenience, Steve. But once we do have the RMS stowed, then we'll back out of EVA.
Okay. I'll tell you what. We'll spend just a few more minutes then getting some pictures here.
Yes, sir. Do just that.
You've been so good to me. You've been so good to me. You know you make me wanna lift my head up and throw my hands back and come on now, come on now, come on now, come on now, take it easy, take it easy, take it easy, take it easy, a little bit softer now, 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 a little bit louder 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 now. Hey, 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 hey,
Good morning, Discovery. I guess you're awake after that song. There are a lot of happy people down here. We saw a great deploy yesterday, and Hubble had a good night while you were asleep.
Tell Hoot he better find that guy and sign him up for Max Q that did the wake-up music.
And we're here this morning to perform student experiment 82-16 for Greg Peterson. This is an experiment designed to investigate what effects gravity-driven buoyancy may have on the behavior of an electrical arc as you observe it on the ground in 1G, say during a Jacob's Ladder experiment in high school. And that is exactly, in fact, the kind of experiment that first gave this idea to Greg. What you see on your right here, taped to the forward lockers, is the arc chamber itself, and the Aeroflex camera is set up to look into the arc. There are mirrors behind the arc so that you get, in fact, 3 different views of it. The first thing we're going to do here is photograph the arc behavior in the ambient magnetic fields of the orbiter, and we, in fact, will look at 3 different orientations. The path of the arc, as the experiment is currently placed, goes parallel to the orbiter's y-axis through the wings. We will then rotate the box and camera 90 degrees to look at the orbiter's z-axis, vertical like this, and then again we'll rotate it 90 degrees and tape it on the overhead panel so that we can look at the ambient magnetic field parallel to the vehicle's z-axis.
We'll show you this a little bit. We have actually, as you can tell, turned the power on, and we have actually applied a magnetic field. So we're stepping through the field. The reason we think you see a very finely defined arc on your right is because that's the tip of a nail. The other part of the arc system is actually the round head of the nail, and we think that the arc is just, or the charge is just kind of jumping around from place to place on the head of the nail, and that's what allows it to go that way. But if you guys can get Greg to come in, he can probably tell you whether we're right or wrong. But we did notice that the behavior of the arc became more and more erratic, and its amplitude increased as the field went up. And just as they had told us, like this.
Fantastic.
Off the floor of the key. There's a place called Kokomo. That's where you wanna go to get away from it all. Bodies in the sand, tropical dreams melting in your hand. We'll be falling in love to the rhythm of the funeral band. Down in Kokomo. Jamaica, ooh, I wanna take you to Bermuda, Bahama. Come on, pretty mama. Key Largo, Montego, baby, why don't we go down to Kokomo? We can take it fast and then we'll take it slow. That's where we wanna go. Way down to Kokomo. Martinique, that Montserrat mystique.
Good morning, Discovery. For Max Q's
technological advances pretty well everywhere. And I can tell you that no one has produced anything like this.